Gotta wait a minute. Gotta wait a minute. Gotta wait a minute. Gotta wait a minute. Gotta wait a minute.
Okay, enough of that. Enough of that.
Oh no.
Alright, let's see what we got here. We gotta say hello to everybody. I want to get that right there. Well, there's going to be a little bit, honey. Alright, we got a couple new folks in here. Alyssa, you need something to sit on.
I am perfectly fine.
No, but your head is like... Hold on.
I am perfectly fine.
There, that's better. We'll split the difference. Recycled, I love your new little icon that you got there. Hey, Lone Star. And there's Bonterre. That's her name is Nunda. Heather's gonna be cooking. Hello, guys.
I bet the Milkinator is probably gonna be in here.
I don't know. He may pop on. You never know. We may see Jason.
The Milkinator is my dad.
We may see Jason at some point. We're going to wait for everybody to get here and kind of give everybody a few minutes to get in.
Pickle.
Pickle. That's not a pickle. That is a
cucumber.
Pickling cucumber that didn't get picked in time.
Yeah. We were taking pictures and it needed to be picked.
Yeah, it needed to be picked.
And we got some more out there that needs to be picked, but they're not.
You know, there is something wrong with this picture. I have no tea.
Here, just text Carol and tell her.
I'm not texting Carol. I know, isn't she cute? She's absolutely... Oh, and you're going to add insult to injury and then drink what's left? No, I'm good.
I'll get some.
Is Jason out cruising in his new truck? No. Hey, so the thumbnail... the thumbnail should give you a little bit of an idea of a little bit of what we're going to talk about tonight. We were going to do oils, but we've had so much go on over the last couple of days that, and then Jason sent me a message and said there was some stuff that we're going to need to do up at the dairy tomorrow. So we're not going to be able to have our live stream tomorrow night, or tomorrow during the day. So I'm going to kind of show you a couple pictures of the different things that Jason, Blaze, and even us at times have been doing over the last couple weeks, just to kind of catch you guys up as to everything that's been going on. But we're going to give everybody a few more minutes to get in here and visit with each other. Do you feel brave enough to go get me something to drink real quick? Okay.
It'll only take like a few seconds.
It'll only take a few seconds. Okay. Hey, Donna. Hey, Nicole. Everybody that's coming in. I know my better half isn't here, so we're just going to kind of go with what we got for right now. There's Karen. Hey, Amanda. And Tanya. Everybody. I know we haven't been coming on, so I'm expecting kind of lower numbers because we haven't been coming on at our normal time. It's been a crazy couple weeks now, because we started up at Old Ways New Times up at their place, and we had a great time there. And the best way to know that we had such a great time there is we don't have any video. Besides the live stream, we have no video there because we were having way too much fun to pick up a camera. And I think you'll find that a lot of times when we go to visit people, you're not going to find a whole lot of video because we're too busy visiting and, you know, bouncing ideas off of each other and just having a really good old-fashioned time instead of worrying about, you know, footage. So, but we had a great time with Donna and Steve. They are extremely hospitable, I guess is the big word. We showed up about 5, 6 o'clock on, I think it was Friday. And we showed up, and she had a nice little room made up for us, and she had an actual candy bar on the pillow for Jason that had the Marines logo, and it was really cool. They were, some of the best tasting food I've ever had. All kinds of really cool stuff. So Tanya said she wants to know if I ever stopped laughing. No, not until it was time to leave, and then it was time to not laugh. It was time to be sad. So anyway, so we have about 40 people. Let's see, it's like 5 after. Let's give everybody a few more minutes to kind of visit and do it. Oh wow, you brought 2. I trained you well.
Can you please give me a coaster so that way Dad doesn't yell at
me? Yeah. There's a coaster.
Oh, you gave me a cute sweet koala.
Mm-hmm. So I've been seeing everybody's posts that are doing the weight loss challenge coming in. I've seen quite a few people weighing in. So that was good to see. I've seen a lot of really high spirits with that, so that was really cool to see everybody supporting each other. We love to see that. Yeah, cupcake date. Well, we went, see, the way that visit went, we got in and visited with everybody, and the next morning we sat out and it was really cool. We woke up, because all of us are used to waking up early. It's just part of what we do. And we woke up and we had coffee sitting outside, and the way their area is set up, it's kind of nice and cozy and private. So we were sitting down and we had cups of coffee, just sitting, it was kind of cool outside, and talked about what we were going to do for the day and everything. And they say if you want to see God laugh, tell him your plans for the day. And he was definitely laughing, because no sooner did we finish breakfast that the next thing I knew, there was text messages flying, and we were getting in a car and going to help Donna's daughter and son-in-law over at their property, which isn't too far away. They had a tree issue that needed to be resolved. And so we went over there, and so that just started the whole process. And it was just we had a magnificent time. It was just so much fun. But a lot of the things that we wanted to do kind of got slid down, the schedule. We were going to go with I'm drawing a blank on Donna's daughter's name. Donna, help me out, because I'm like totally drawing a blank. I could see her plain as day, and I could see her husband. But we were going to go to the cupcake shop that's there. And basically, we ended up not being able to go together. So we went with Donna and Steve and went and picked up cupcakes and brought them back. And they were fantastic. And they've inspired Blaze and I to see if we can figure out how to make our own. ER trips were avoided, but it was iffy. That was Julie. That's it. Thank you.
Can I tell them about what we did up at Grandmom's and Grandpa's?
Sure. So while we were in one side of North Carolina, the girls were on the other side of North Carolina. Emma says hi, Ladessa.
Hi, Emma.
And hey, Sam. I saw you pop in there. And hey, Kitty. So what did you do while Daddy and I were visiting Mama Donna and Professor Steve?
So the second day that we went, we went to go look at some cars and
some trucks,
and then we came back to the house. So you guys got your stuff
and left.
left, and then we met Grandmom up for
lunch.
And then we went back to the house, and then
tell everybody that Grandpop had scheduled some kind of surprise.
Yes.
But he wouldn't tell you. What was the clues he gave you?
He said, well, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna be dirty.
And you're gonna be sitting for a long time. And you guys thought that meant you were gonna be on a road trip or something, right?
Yeah, and then it came to me, and I asked him, well, are we gonna be on a farm? And he was like, kind of.
Kind of.
And then I said, are we going to be, what is it?
I don't know. But anyway, so what ended up happening?
I put all that stuff together, and I was like, dirty, sitting for a long time, blank.
Right.
And so I filled in, and I was like, dirty farm. Well, we're going to be on a farm, kind of a park. And so that's when it came to me, and then the first thing that popped into my mind, and he said it was in modern times.
Modern times, okay.
And so then it came to me, it was like, well, people rode horses in the modern times. And so that was my guess, and he was like, yep, you got it.
So he scheduled for you guys to go horseback riding.
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys had a really good time, but there had been a lot of rain, so you didn't get to go on all the trails, but you still rode for an hour, right?
Right, because it was half an hour up there and half an hour back.
And then what was the most eventful part?
Trotting.
Trotting? Why trotting?
Because every time I trotted, it was like, helmet came off.
Oh, no. Kept knocking yourself out with the helmet, huh? And then what about Grandpa getting off the horse?
Well, it was really hard for him to
Scoot back
do
up,
it.
baby.
It was really hard to do it because he had 3 surgeries on one leg and then 2 surgeries on the other one.
So it was hard for him to get off.
Yes.
You guys thought he was going to get stuck on the horse, huh? So anyway, so then after that, what else did you guys get to do?
We went back and then we met all the people at Grandmom's work.
Wow.
Don't ask me who their names are because I do not remember.
What was the best meal you had while you were there? What was Grandmom's best meal?
Probably...
Because Grandmom loves to cook when you guys are there, doesn't she? She had meatloaf the night we were there. What else?
Meatloaf and then meatballs, which are like this big.
Yeah, that was a funny thing. We were making hamburgers the next week, and you were like, "This is one of Grandmom's meatballs."
No, these what's the biggest thing? Let's say about this size is Grandmom's kind of medium.
Meatballs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway. So you guys had a really good time while you were there.
And then we went swimming.
And then you went swimming.
And then we had to go get swimsuits.
Yeah. So they grow every year, so we have to go get a new swimsuit every year, right? Yeah. So, so what else? Let's see. So then we came back and we got the truck.
Yes.
And then who got to ride home with Daddy in the truck? You did, huh? Yeah.
Carol went with Mommy.
Do you like the truck? Yeah. We didn't take any pictures of the truck. We need to do that. So.
Well, it does need to be fixed a little.
No. See, here's the way I look at it. There's a couple dings on it. And the way I look at it is somebody else put the dings in it for us, and we don't have to worry about putting any dings in it. Because if you get a brand new one, it's all shiny and doesn't have any dents or anything, and you don't have, you worry about when's the first one coming. But when you've already got a couple of dings on it, then you don't have to worry about the dings because they're already there.
Just like your car.
Just like my car. No, because my car was, no.
Yeah.
I put the dings in my car.
Yeah.
Well, wait. I didn't put the dings in my car.
The animals did.
The raccoon did.
The owls did.
The owl did. The possum did. The rabbit did. So, anyways.
The beaver.
Yeah, the beaver. So anyway, so we came back home and we had to start. Daddy and Blaze had to start their routine of milking.
Yes, they had to wake up at like 4 o'clock.
Well, they wake up at 4:30-ish and they're out the door by 10 till 5. And they get over to the dairy, which is only like 6 or 7 minutes away. So basically they drive over there and it's usually dark when they get there first thing in the morning. And sometimes the cows are there and they're ready to be milked, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're still out in the pasture grazing and they don't, they're not ready. So
I just seeing all the
the comments. Everybody loves Ladessa. So yeah, I'm getting there, Sam. So basically what has ended up happening is they get up first thing in the morning, they go over there and milk. I get up with the girls about an hour or so later. They go out and finish their chores, and then they come back in, and what we're going to start doing with our routine is they're going to do a school lesson in the morning from the time that I leave until the time that Jason gets back, because there's a little bit of overlap. It's not much. And if it looks like it's going to be longer than about 30 minutes or so, Jason comes up and he'll come get them and they can help.
Or either you'll come up and pick us up.
Right, and take you there. So, and I mean, Carol's almost 12, so we're not really too concerned. And we've obviously raised them to kind of know what to do, and they have certain rules, like they're not allowed to cook while nobody's here. Even though they could, it wouldn't be a problem. But anyway, so that's basically what we've been doing, that routine, and it's worked out pretty well. They do some laundry while they're waiting on Daddy to get home, and then in the evening time they leave probably 5 to 10 minutes before I get home.
Sometimes it has to be at 4-ish.
Right.
Because Blaze has to clean the tank.
Right. So every couple of days, a truck comes to unload the milk out of the tanks, and when they do that, then they have to sanitize the tank before they can put milk back in it. Ginger Rose, she changed her name. I love it. Grandma Rose's Homestead. I love that. So basically twice a week, I think they have to go over there a little bit earlier so they can clean the tanks out before they get everything ready. And then the other night, his employer came and picked up 21 of the cows. So now, instead of there being 90-ish, 92, somewhere around there. There's 95, right?
I think there was 95, but then
2 of them are bulls, so that means 93 that he's milking.
And then remember, you got the 3 calves, which I think we're gonna be bringing home pretty soon.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So he brought a couple of mamas with calves, and so the calves, and I'll show you a picture of that. Let me see if I can find it. So the baby calves, this is what the baby calves look like.
Where are they?
I don't know. I gotta turn that off. There we go. So these are the baby calves. There's 2 of them. Actually, there's 3 now.
3.
This was taken the first day when they dropped off the 2. Right there, they've just been separated from Mom in the afternoon, and they didn't eat very much that night. So the next morning, the girls went over with Jason and helped, because they've done this before. They've helped bottle feed calves. So they knew what to do with a little bit of instruction. And go ahead.
You can't forget, because you took us out and got us breakfast.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had to take you breakfast first.
But really, you couldn't. You could have just let us, because I knew Mr. Willie was there.
Yeah.
And when Mr. Willie is there, he always takes Blaze and
Right.
Bubba, Daddy, and Blaze
Mm-hmm.
out to breakfast.
Right.
So we got done with feeding the calves and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then Mr. Willie took us out to this place.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Biscuit Barn, and you actually went up there this morning.
Yes, we went up there this morning. So that's something that everybody's been telling us about, is that there's this place called the Biscuit Barn, and it's right up the street from the dairy. And so he took them up there a couple mornings for breakfast, and they were so excited to share it with me that today I went with them, and we did the Biscuit Barn, and it was very good. It was just southern, old time
Mommy,
southern cooking.
Now you finally have a southern grandma.
Yeah.
That's what
So
Blaze was like, you cannot ruin my happy place.
So yeah, so they did some feeding. This is Carol feeding the calf, one of the calves, and you can tell that she's absolutely thrilled to be doing.
She loves that black one.
Yeah, she had a really good time.
She is in love with
Hello
that
to
black
family,
one.
and that's a little heifer calf. The other one
He's a bull.
is a bull calf, right?
And he is a just
what?
He's so hard to feed.
Well, what they are doing, because it's in their nature, that when they go to feed, I mean, it's not like somebody teaches them to feed off of their mom. So their natural instinct is, when they have the bag, is they hit the bag with their nose to be able to tell mom to drop the milk down. Well, when we're holding a bottle, we don't have an udder. I mean, we just don't.
And you know what's really hard?
What?
When they start sucking on your pants
right.
or your dress or anything.
Right. And then the other thing is, because there's three, and well, now there's three, and we only had 2 bottles. The third one will sneak up behind you and
hit you in the butt.
And will mistake your derriere for an udder, which is not the case, right? So there were a couple of times that we were feeding calves, and I would watch Ladessa go up a little bit. Her whole body would jump a little bit, because the calf would just pick her up off the ground just a little bit.
He's sucking on my pants, and then I'm just petting him, and then I just feel this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Sam said, no, not a bull calf, it's a steak calf. Well, yeah, see, what happens is that they'll make a decision pretty soon, whether it be that he'll be sold for somebody's breeding replacement calf later down the road, or if it will be banned. They'll put a band on it, and on his man parts. And they'll turn him into a steer, and then that will.
You could have just said that.
I know.
You didn't have to demonstrate it.
So anyway, yeah, it's a new way of kissing your butt. That's exactly right. The cow kissing your butt. Yeah, it could have been his way of saying thanks for the milk, but no, he yeah. So they still have that instinct, even though you bottle feed them. You've got to hold on to the bottle, and that's why, like, some of these, they have these little racks so you can put the bottle down in it and hang it off of a fence. But the problem with that is, a lot of times they still have that need and that instinct to hit the bag, and what happens is they'll hit the bottle, and because the case or the holder is got it in place, a lot of times when they hit it, if it's one of the there's 2 different types of lids for the bottles. You can have the screw-on bottles that has like an O-ring, and then the nipple fits down in it and comes up over top of it, kind of like a canning jar. And then the other ones are, it's a pop-on lid, and it just basically, it fits over the hole. So it's smaller than it, and you pull it down over the hole. And but what happens is, in both situations, both types of bottles, if you put it on one of those holders and they hit that bottle real hard, they'll knock the nipple right off of the bottle. And then you have a huge mess. So what we've been doing is teaching the girls to make sure that they hold the bottle by the nipple.
You have to hold it up like at a 40-degree angle.
45-degree angle. And then we make sure that they put their hand over the, over the top of the cap so that it doesn't, it doesn't knock off and then there's milk everywhere. Not that we don't have an abundance of milk, but right now they're still getting the colostrum. Well, at this point they're probably not getting as much of the colostrum, but those first 2 days it was really important for them to have the colostrum. So so that was important that we not knock the the milk onto the ground, because it could be a mess and it would be a waste. So let's see. Last Nice Guy says, mind if I give a shout out for Illumina Acres? Really nice people and entertaining. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was one thing, was feeding the calves and making sure that they're done. Another thing is we will be bringing over several calves over here to be able to turn them out into some grass, so that once they're ready to start doing grass and feed, that they'll have plenty of grass to look on, right?
And Mr. Willie is coming back tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So Windswept says, when my youngest was little, we passed a field with beef cows. My husband said, look at all that hamburger. My youngest asked, are the little ones meatballs? That's pretty funny. So we did a little bit of that. Now, Jason has been kind of busy. I don't know if you guys saw these pictures from before, but Jason has been keeping up with the bees. I couldn't find the pictures of Jason and Blaze together, but this is Jason inspecting one of the hives, looking at them drawing out the comb, and then also trying to put eyes on the queen in that particular hive. This was the last hive, so he was looking at it to make sure that he could identify those. He also, let's see, we have another one here.
I think we do. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, there we go. There's another one. He's looking again. Pulled out another hive, or pulled out another frame to be able to look. And you can see he's got his handy dandy radio, his walkie-talkie on, just in case he needed us to do anything. And let's see, what else have we got here? So Jason's been doing some beekeeping. And then, let's see. Oh, so PB Brown was talking about their pasture stuff. It says the tree warden had a tree fall on the fence in our summer pasture. Ooh.
Ooh. That has to stink.
Yeah, we don't like it when trees fall around here, because we're usually out chasing cows when that happens. So Ladessa and I went walking around the garden a little bit today, and I'm sure you guys have heard me say there are two things that we have in our garden that are very prolific. Well, three things really that are very prolific.
I thought it was 4 things. Rutabagas.
No, they're not prolific. Prolific means that they keep replenishing and replanting themselves and stuff. So one of the things that we have had just completely take over is...
This is crazy.
The mint. And Ladessa is a decent sized child. And you could see some of those bushes of mint are almost up to her nose. That whole bed is full of sweet mint. So that's our mint bed. We have, if you look off to the left of the picture, in the next bed over, there's also other,
peppermint.
Yeah, there's peppermint there.
And then there's...
Yeah. So that's the mint. And then this past year, we planted Jerusalem artichokes. And we harvested all of the tubers, at least we thought we did, which we were aware of the fact that you can't possibly get them all. So we decided that we would just, you know, if we had any left behind, it would be okay. They would replant and they would grow this year. Well, we didn't realize just how much they would grow.
Oh, yeah.
These are the Jerusalem artichokes. That's one bed.
And
we didn't plant one of these. Not one. And Ladessa is over 4 feet tall. So these things, yeah, right at 4 feet, right? A little over 4 feet. So these plants are at least 6 feet at this point. So you can see, and in this bed, it's an 4 foot by 8 foot bed, and it is full. And then the bed next to it also has a lot of Jerusalem artichokes in it as well.
Was that Daddy?
Yeah, it is. Let's see.
What?
Daddy wants to know if we're live. So we're going to tell him yes. Okay. So that's the Jerusalem artichokes. Now, another thing that we did not plant that has just kind of showed up, and I wanted to show you this because we didn't plant these. We had no intention of them being planted. We were going to plant our own. And we started looking in the ground everywhere, and this is what has showed up. Now you can see the nuts edge that has taken over this one bed, but this is a loofah plant. And you can see all the different flowers and stuff getting ready to start coming out. But this was a bed that we were going to let rest this year, and lo and behold, it has a loofah plant on it. So, and then there's plenty of them that have shown up in the middle of our fields. So these are 3 things that we really didn't, you know, attempt to plant a lot of, and they just kind of showed up. Yeah. Well, that's what we call them. We call them fartichokes because they really do, guys. They will make like the methane gas that comes out of those things. Woo-wee! Right? They're pretty stinky. So, well, they're not stinky, but when you eat them, you have to be careful. We have a video that we did on them. It's a fried squash video. And there's a little bit of joking, but it's really true. The way that they're digested in your system, it still doesn't allow for you to completely digest them, and so you can end up with pretty bad gas. It's pretty stinky. So instead of calling them Jerusalem artichokes, now we call them fartichokes. So that's what we...
Okay, I'm going to go get me some more tea.
Do you want to just share mine? And that way you don't have to leave?
But I really have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, well then go ahead and go to the bathroom. So anyway, yeah, the soil's definitely having a party. The problem is that it's having too much of a party. Up until this past year, we were having to mow our grass with a push mower. And basically what happened is some of that grass went to seed and it blew into our big garden. And so we're fighting almost a losing battle of grass that has just showed up into our garden. And so no sooner do we pull everything, it just seems like it keeps coming back. So basically what we're going to end up having to do is pull everything up and start over at the end of this season. We still have a lot of things growing. I think I guess I didn't. I thought I had a picture. I guess not. We had a we had a couple of pickling cucumbers. This is one that obviously we missed. And we have a few more of these. We have some regular pickling cucumbers that are finally popping up. We have some tomatoes that are finally...
Oh, did you show them the...
I didn't see. I thought we had loaded one that was the picture of the...
No, you didn't.
Thought I did, but...
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay. So anyway, yeah, we have a couple other things growing. We had some volunteer peas that decided to grow, and we've got a lot of yellow squash coming up. We have some broccoli that's still trying to hang on before it gets too hot. We harvested a lot of Swiss chard, and we learned how to cook the Swiss chard really well.
A lot of mint.
Yeah, and we've harvested a lot of mint. We also harvested a lot of wild spinach,
yes.
lamb's quarters. We've been using that. Please sit up, sweetie. I know you're tired. And let's see, what else? We've got beans that are getting ready to start growing. And potatoes. But like the potatoes are, seems like they're starting to they're growing really well, but the grass is coming in and it's
choking them out.
Yeah, with the big cuke make pickle relish. We probably will. We have a couple of these, Donna, and I'll probably get in touch with you and see if we can figure out a way to do some pickle relish.
Are you going to tell Daddy to get on our live stream?
Well, he knows that we're on, so if he decides to get on, he will. So, so anyway, we've also had some pecan seeds go to seedlings. So that's another thing that we've been trying to pick up and move around and get those. And now the grapevines are starting to...
We got, when I checked them this morning, the ones by the Cochins, those scuppernongs, they were starting to...
getting a little bit bigger?
They're like that big.
Cool. So they're starting to get bigger, and I'm not falling for it. So anyway, we've definitely, chow chow, that's another thing we can make too. Yeah.
What's that?
I don't know. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna make a bunch of that different stuff and start canning some things and getting things done.
We have, I thought we had more stuff coming.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
We have tomatoes.
Uh-huh.
We got a lot of tomatoes. We're just waiting for them to turn red.
To start turning red. Yep.
We also got the strawberries.
Strawberries, yeah, and blueberries. The blueberries are coming in pretty good.
We're clearing out an area for the raspberries.
For raspberries, yep. So yeah, so we have a lot of different things in place. We've got, we finally got our shears in for the sheep, and so we've got to do that this week before it really starts to get too warm.
They're like
they look like big cotton balls walking around
big.
right now. Yeah. Now we're fortunate that the area where we live on our property, we have an area that is very heavily wooded, and there's a creek down there, and it's considerably cooler down there. So they spend a good portion of their days down there. But we definitely, you were tired. So basically, we got to get them rounded up this week and get them sheared so that we can give them their haircut for the summer. And let's see. So I have a couple of pictures. I don't know how many of y'all heard about Jason's misfortune the other day.
What?
Yesterday morning. He was riding first thing in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And it was dark, and there was a brand new pasture, and so they had opened up the brand new pasture, and Jason went out with a four-wheeler to go round up the cows. And when he did that, he found a ditch that he didn't know existed. And the four-wheeler went straight down into the ditch, and Jason went over top of the ditch, or over top of the, went up over top of the four-wheeler, and he hurt his wrist and twisted his back pretty good. So he got up, and he walked back to, because he couldn't get the four-wheeler out, and he walked back to the barn. Hold on one second. So Texas Little Star 63 said, if you let the loofah grow, will you sell some? We are letting the loofah grow. And I don't know if we'll sell any, but I know we're definitely going to have some, seeds that we'll be able to do so that, like we've been sending out seeds. We ran out of seeds to be able to send to people. So if I didn't send you any seeds, email me and remind me that you want some. And as soon as I have seeds this year, I'll send them out to you this fall. So anyway, he went up over the four-wheeler, went down into the ground, got himself up, walked back to the barn, and in the process of walking back to the barn, he found an electric fence.
Did you see what Miss Sam said?
And yes, and he didn't find it with his hand or his leg. He found it with his crutch. And so, yeah, so that was not good. So basically, he had to recuperate from that. And then today, I was waiting for him to, tell me that his back was hurting or his wrist was hurting. But I think we caught it quick enough to make sure that he didn't, he didn't twist anything or mess anything up too bad.
I thought he said that we had to go to the VA.
Well, he was saying that at first, thinking that he might.
I asked him, and he was like,
Faith and Family says it's too late to plant the seeds now. The thing is, it takes a pretty long growing period. I can't remember exactly how long, but I want to say it's close to pumpkin. So you need to look that up before planting it. Down here in the south, we probably still have plenty of time. But depending on your growing season, it may be too late this year. Yeah, he did find it with, it was not, he wasn't joking. He was serious. He said it made him throw up when it happened. So, but anyway, and he was so cute. He said to me, if that is even close to what it feels like for a woman to go into labor, I am sorry. I'm sorry I ever said that you're a wuss. He was very apologetic about all of that. So, but anyway, he is better. He's fine. Now he knows where the electric fence is out there. And, but this is the kind of stuff that Jason does during the day. I don't know if any of y'all saw his Facebook post earlier, but the thumbnail with the cows basically showing their butts is them loading up to get ready to milk. So this is basically what he gets to see first thing in the morning and then again in the evening before they all go down into the chute.
Especially the brown.
Whoops.
Whoa, what did you do?
We're here. And then let's see. So he sends me these funny messages and he'll say, like, this is what I do all day. And he said it's funny because the cows sometimes think that he can't see them. If you look at the picture, he's across the creek, and here's this cow back behind the trees, hiding, saying, "Oh, you can't see me."
It's like Blaze, and he's hiding in plain sight on the couch, like, whoop.
Yeah. So that's one, and then here's another one where they're down in the creek because they know that Jason can't get down into the creek. So they'll sit down in there in the shade and in the afternoon, and they'll just look at him like, what do you want me to do? I'm down here staying cool. I don't want to have anything to do with you.
And I don't want to get milk.
Yeah, I'm not doing this whole milking thing. And but you can see in the picture, their bags are full. They're ready to be milked. So that's another one. And then, let's see, here's another one. This is another cow that has decided to hide back behind the creek to where Jason can't get to him. So, yeah. So they love playing with Jason and, just giving him a hard time for them to come be milked. Now, here is a picture of... Yeah, this is a picture of Blaze. Blaze is milking.
I took that one.
If you can see, there are 6 chutes, and I'm sure you can't really see that, but that's Blaze up close and personal with one of the cows.
I think that one was the mama dog.
No, because so there's one that's very difficult to milk, and she requires both Jason and Blaze to be working on her at the same time. If you lift their tail up, there is a way to keep them from, they basically lock their back legs. And so what ends up happening is Jason and Blaze have to work together because she'll kick otherwise. And it can get pretty, I don't want to say, I guess dangerous, because, you know, the way that they kick is not good. So, bye, William. Sorry you couldn't load everything up. But, so yeah, and then here's another one. Let's see if I can find the other one of Blaze. Here's another one.
Yeah, that one was kind of good.
Yeah, let's see if you can
see him.
Don't know that you can. I'm not sure why it's not. I don't know, but anyway, that's him milking, getting up underneath the cow. If you look down on that little, there's a grate right there that catches where they pee and things like that, and then they have, like, if you look right down there on that railing right there, there's some iodine. They use the iodine after they're finished milking them to make sure that they're cleaned up. Let's see. Last Nice Guy says, don't they have electric cattle prods anymore? Yes, they do. But if you know anything about us, you know that Jason really doesn't want to have to use any kind of an electric cattle prod. What's wrong with you? You're tired. Sit up, baby. So, yeah, so he doesn't use that. We do have, there are some sticks, they're fiberglass sticks, and you use them to just kind of poke them and nudge them a little bit at a time. They really don't like to be touched on their hip bones, so a lot of times you can, you know, kind of touch them on their hind quarter or push that hip bone, because a lot of times when they're loading up, they're 6, and they're at an angle. So they come in, and sometimes they won't go all the way up, so we have to move them up. So we'll give them a little bump. And
sometimes the bull gets in there.
Yeah, we have to be careful, because sometimes the bull gets in the lineup. And,
sometimes Mom almost sprayed him once, and Mom almost put the things that sucks the milk.
The milker?
Yeah. Milker. And
well, you get in a rhythm. And so you go from one side to turn to the other side, and you go to grab the milk machine off of that cow, and you turn around, and you're like, not a cow. That's a bull. And you put it down very quickly and move on to the next one. So we ended up doing a lot of that. I have another picture of...
Don't you have a picture?
That's Jason and me, and you can see Blaze.
I thought I had a picture of Dad holding the tail up with the mommy dog.
Probably.
I think it's that one with the mom.
I really wish you would stop calling her a mommy dog.
That's what Dad calls her?
I know, but I really wish you wouldn't call her a mommy dog. But anyway, you can see here in this picture, the lines up overhead are where the milk is and flows through, and we're down in a trench down there, and that's definitely the idea of what we're going to do when we build ours. Now, obviously, it's not going to have 6 on either side. It'll probably only have 3 on one side, but we're going to put it so that they're up above us, and instead of them being at an angle, we're going to have them straight back, so we'll be able to hook them up straight from behind. Because a lot of times, once you train a cow really well to be able to milk, they'll actually, and he's got a lot of really good ones that are basically trained that as soon as you start to clean off their udder, they'll actually spread their legs apart a little bit to give you a little bit more room. Yeah, it says they're big beasts up close, but they're such gentle giants most of the time. Most of the time, you will get some who just, they don't want you to touch them. And that's where there's a couple of tricks that they, Jason and Blaze have been taught to be able to grab. Like there's a skin flap right there between their back flank and up into their stomach area. And you can actually grab that area and you just very gently hold on to it. And what it does is you feel the muscle, if they start to kick, it slows them down a little bit. So you can get away from them before they start to kick. Now, when I always milked our cow, I used to put my shoulder up on her flank when I would milk so that if she was getting ready to kick, she had to really kick hard because I kind of lean on her. So then that way she wouldn't kick me. So, different things. It says most cows, you don't have to do that. They go the way you chase them. Yeah, no, and that's true, but there's also the herd mentality. Once one goes one way, you could have 15 go, that way. The problem with these cows, and it's not really a problem, is there's decent pasture out there. So like Suburban's saying, the ones that we milk lined up at the barn door in the morning and night, they wanted the silage. Well, here's the thing. He's not only using silage, but he's also bringing in brewer's grain, which we've known about brewer's grain and brewer's yeast for a while because we had a friend who had a lady that made lactation cookies for women who were breastfeeding, and she used brewer's yeast in those cookies because it was supposed to help with lactation. So we had already thought about using brewer's yeast or brewer's grain. So when he mentioned that that's what he used, we kind of knew what that was for. But they put that out there, but they also have pretty decent pasture. So a lot of times the cows, the silage is great and everything, but they're getting good feed and good options besides just the silage that they'll keep their heads down long enough for you to milk them. But yeah, they're very well cared for. The only problem is we've had so much rain lately that there's a lot of mud. And the thing is that now that it's hot and that mud is still cold and cool, they'll lay down in that mud. And so it's a beast trying to get them clean. We have to hose them off before we can even put the cleaning solution.
It was one afternoon that Blaze was out on the four-wheeler for some reason. He was trying to get it unstuck because Dad originally got it stuck because of the mud. And so Dad was like, okay, I'm going to drive you out there, and you're going to follow my instructions, and you're going to drive the four-wheeler.
Yeah, you drove the four-wheeler out, didn't you? Dad said you moved it like a boss. So anyway, yeah. So it's been pretty busy between us doing our things here and then them doing their thing there. Between the two. And then, my oldest daughter is learning how to cook and figure out dinner and lunches and stuff. So she just hit me up and told me dinner is on, noodles are cooking, and the chicken is cut. She's really, I'll tell you, there's one thing about this that has been a blessing is that the girls are starting to grow up. They're coming out from underneath Blaze's shadow, and they're learning how to be a lot more self-sufficient, without having to rely on Blaze so much. So Grandma Rose wants to know, am I working there too? No, not really. I go over there and help. See, here's the thing. We've all used those milking machines. So if there's normally 2 of them doing it, if you add a third set of hands in there, it makes things go even faster.
And then you add 5 set of hands.
Well, because Carol and Ladessa will come down and they'll hose down areas and things like that.
I scoop the poop.
Yeah, you scoop the poop. There's a flat shovel kind of thing that she just runs down. That area that you saw that has the cows coming up the chute. Because they stay in there for a while, obviously it gets some poo in there. So Ladessa will go, and she's the pooper scooper.
No, when I do it, I'm a mad pooper scooper.
You're a mad pooper scooper. And so she'll scoop out, and that's not every day. That's just every once in a while when we go down to help.
Every once in a while, like probably tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll go down there tomorrow and help in the afternoon. That's part of the reason why we're not going to be doing the live stream.
I have to put on boots.
Yeah, definitely. Because we went over there this morning to meet them for breakfast, and when we got there, we were dressed for breakfast. We weren't dressed for helping them out. And when we got there, they still had some hosing to do and everything.
Oh no, we only got 5 minutes left.
Only 5 minutes. It goes so fast, doesn't it? But yeah, so they came over and helped, and I'm a busybody. I can't stand there and watch them. I'm one of those that I got to get in there and help. So a lot of times, Blaze and I are way more efficient with the machines than Jason, because Jason hasn't used, well, now he is, but when he first started, Blaze and I know the machines way better than Jason did, because Jason never really used the one that we had for our cow before. He used to just help us hand milk. And so that's the other thing that's been really cool, is we're getting familiar with these machines again, so that when it comes time to hook up our own cows, we'll be back in and, we'll be able to hook them up. And so we've been able to take a couple notes on different things on what we do and how they do them and what we need to do and not do. I assume Blaze is not a cow. No, Blaze is not a cow. Blaze is my son.
You know what he said?
Why?
When you dressed up in that pretty dress.
Oh, yeah, so the funny story goes that when Blaze was about 3-ish, I was dressed up to go out, and I had this absolutely beautiful dress on, but it was mostly black with a couple of white flowers on it, but it was very abstract looking. And I walked in, and my son adored me at the time. Now
and he said
he could care less what I do now, but when they're like 3, they absolutely love you. And he looked up at me and he said,
"You are a pretty."
No, he said, "Mom, you are the prettiest cow I've ever seen." So that's the running joke, especially now, and that we talk about. He said something today at breakfast. I was like, "Oh, so you're calling me a cow?" Well, it wouldn't be the first time. So anyway, but yeah, so we have a lot planned this week. Obviously, we won't be on tomorrow at 3. We won't be able to make it at 3 tomorrow.
I think we have to do something with the gate, because we have to put
fences.
We have to put fences with the brewers' yeast.
And see, that's the other thing is that Uh-oh. Is that Carol? Is it Carol? Close the door.
It's the devil child.
Close the door. So we got a lot that we'll be doing over the next couple weeks.
Ow.
We can't see you, Carol. You gotta come into the... So there's Carol. Carol is cooking dinner and being silly. Yes. Will you stop?
So is dinner done? No. It's still cooking.
Then how are you in here and cooking dinner at the same time?
It's probably 2 of me.
I made 2 of me.
For real? Like, so I can go slap the other one in the face?
Well, we've missed you guys as well. We definitely will be doing our best to continue to be on here. Carol, I will tell you to leave. Yeah. So Sam says, don't let Jason get near the fence. He might get flashbacks. No, they're putting up hard fencing. But here's the thing. So Jason, what I was saying is Jason's influence and his education with all of the pasture rotation, he's been talking to this farmer and saying, look, you might want to work on rotating your pastures and doing stuff like that to be able to maximize your pasture, because see, cows are like children. When you put them out to pasture, if you give them 20 acres to eat over, they won't eat everything that's good for them. They're going to go right for the ice cream or the stuff that they like to eat the most. So if you put them in a smaller area and kind of force them to eat everything, then, you know, it works out pretty well. All right, well, it is almost 9 o'clock. We're going to hop off of here because obviously it's time for us to have a late dinner. We got to finish that up before Daddy and Bubba get home. When I saw his post, it was shocking. So anyway, Miss B Lady says hi.
Hi.
And Miss D was on here earlier. I think she might have left, but so anyway, you guys have an excellent evening. I know we'll be trying to hop on here occasionally, and definitely next Saturday I will be back on. Hopefully next Saturday I'll be able to do an oils class. We've been so busy that I wasn't able to really put much of anything together. So, what?
When can I talk to Emma again, Mr.
I saw that Miss Nicole asked
Miss
about
Nicole.
it. Well, we'll try. Maybe we can do it tomorrow. So Kitty said the hens are going to be on around 9:30, so I might pop in there and chat with y'all a little while later. Y'all have a good evening. Be nice to one another. And I don't remember the rest of the spiel that Jason says. Something about be a good steward to your land, basically, because we only have one planet Earth. And you guys have a good evening, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Have a good day.
Yeah. And what is it?
Have a nice day. Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Yeah. Don't forget to heal.